welcome back. Episode 3, Building Business with Brentley. We got little Brentley here. I'm your host, Jamel Brentley. And today we're going to go into what it takes to build business credit. I'm going to give you guys a few different tips to get you started, whether you're a new business, you're thinking about starting a business, or you already established and got a couple years under your belt. If you want to get away from using your personal funds and start leveraging different banks and financial institutions, stay tuned. Getting back into it. Hope my mic's good. Can you hear me? Huh? How would I know? On the playback. So it's like, sometimes it'd be bad if you record too much. You record 30, 40 minutes. You can't hear none of it. No, I'm good. I've been there before. I think I'm good. All right, perfect. So, welcome back. Episode 3 of Building Business with Brentley. Super happy, super excited to be here. If you're here watching me, thank you. Please like, comment, subscribe. It helps the algorithm, or at least that's what I keep hearing by other YouTube influencers. So essentially, let's get into it. So this episode is going to be all about how to get started with building your business credit. If you're somebody that's already established in having a business, or even if you're thinking about starting a new business and maybe you don't want to put yourself or your own personal finances on the line to kind of get your business off the ground, what you would do is utilize business credit. And there's a few different ways you can start to utilize business credit. My personal favorite is leveraging your personal credit. So essentially you make yourself a cosigner, or what's called a personal guarantee. Hey, son. So you make yourself a cosigner or a personal guarantee. And what this allows you to do is, being that you either have a new business, or even if your business is a little bit older, if you don't have already active trade lines, or you basically different entities reporting that you do business with them from different time periods, showing that you're in good standing, you're building out that business credit report, essentially the same way you would build out a personal credit report. What you would do to jumpstart that process is leverage your personal, right? So let's say, for example, within this year alone, I was able to obtain 2 different vehicles by using business credit, but also by leveraging, son's making a guest appearance, also by leveraging my personal credit. And the way I was able to do that, I would go to Ford, right? Because Ford has Ford Financial, which does commercial lending, which you could also go to Alley Financial as well if you wanted to go to a different dealership. But for my own personal reasons, I went with Ford. And essentially what you would do is they're gonna fill out the application the same as you would do with any personal side, but you only put your business information down. So they run your business credit, and depending on where your business stands, they will either ask you to personally guarantee or co-sign that loan as well, just to help support it. Or if you have established business credit, you don't have to do that, right? So that's kind of the end goal, the end result. But to help you get to, building up to those stages, the things that you can do to make sure that your business is even going to be considered for something like this is going to be what goes on in the back office. And back office things are going to be like making sure that you have a phone number associated with your business. There's a lot of different things online that you can see where people will say that having an 800 number is better than having just a local phone number. Honestly, it depends on your industry. Me personally, I'm in the real estate, taxation, consulting space. So I have a local phone number only because I would like the people who I do business with around me to know that this is someone that's local, at least to Central Florida. But if you have a different type of business where you operate online, 800 number is not bad. You can get an 800 number through a lot of different services where you just pay a monthly subscription. Also the address to your business. If you don't want to use your personal home, or even there can be downsides to using a personal home address, it's fine when it comes to the taxation side of things, but when you're actually trying to build out that business credit profile, if you don't have a storefront or brick and mortar location, what you can do is get a virtual address. Virtual addresses can be obtained. There's one website called Regis where you can get a virtual address. This is actually something I did as well. With my personal business, I had a California address because I had some different things I was doing out in California. And to be considered for that, you have to be a local resident of the state. So sometimes you do have to do different things to get a virtual address or a personal address in a certain different state, but it kind of makes a difference based off where you live. So after you get your phone number together, you get your address together, the next thing is you're going to want to do is go ahead and get a website for your business. Now, me personally, I did my website through GoDaddy. I think I pay like $15 a month to maintain it. When you first sign up with them, they do assign you someone who can help walk you through that process of building out the website. It's actually super simple. Me personally, I like to go to YouTube to learn how to do anything. I call it YouTube University. I honestly feel like my 6 or 7 years of YouTube University is more valuable than my 4-year degree from a accredited institution. So, but you know, that's up for debates, neither here nor there. But essentially, always want to do your research with whatever you're doing. But a lot of these things that we're getting into, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you know that you have to make it happen, right? No matter if you have someone on your team that can help you, or if you're doing it all by yourself until you get to a position where you can delegate and, you know, hire on staff, you got to make it happen regardless. Your client doesn't really care about your personal situation. So you get the phone number together, you get the address together, you get your website built out. Now you're in a good position, right? You're in a good position. From here, you want to start getting trade lines reporting on your business credit report. And the way that you check your business credit report, there's going to be 3 different bureaus. Same as with the personal side, but there's going to be a Dun & Bradstreet, which gives you a DUNS number. Anything over 80 is awesome. That's what people are looking for. You have Experian Business, right? And you want to have anything over, I believe Experian Business is 70. Anything over 70 is good for Experian Business. And then there's also business, there's Equifax Business, and you want to be over 600 for Equifax Business. If you're in that space, just getting started with the business credit reporting agencies, I would say, just like on the personal side, you have the FICO or you have Credit Karma. For the business side, you can go to nav.com. That's NAV.com, nav.com, where they also have a free version, but they also have a paid service. Now, I would suggest to anybody that's getting into this business credit, if you're taking this serious, go ahead and pay for nav.com's service that they offer, because not only is this going to allow you to get a package where you can unlock more things and more suggested tips and items that they can put together for you, but in addition, you're going to be able to get a trade line reporting to all 3 bureaus. As you get deeper into this game, you'll be able to see that sometimes these different companies, they will give you a line of credit, but they only report to certain bureaus, right? So it doesn't always put you in the best position, because let's say if you're going for a loan through a bank and they primarily look at Equifax, but you don't have anything reporting to your Equifax business, you only have Experian and Dun & Bradstreet, well, when they pull your business credit, it's going to look like nothing's there, and we don't want that. So we want to be able to make sure we can utilize and capitalize on every one of these trade lines that we're getting. So when you sign up with NAV, they're going to report to all 3 credit bureaus, so that's super awesome. So you got your phone number down, got your address down, you got your website down, you're starting to report on the business credit bureaus. But as you report, the thing about it is, let's say even if you go to 2 different stores, and I always like to speak from personal experience, right? So, excuse me, if you do Office Depot, depending on what you tell them on your application, they might approve you from $3,000 to $5,000, right? That's perfect. But that doesn't mean that's the type of trade line that's going to get reported to the business credit bureaus. The only thing that gets reported is the balance that you have out. So let's say if your statement closes on the 16th and you only spent $500 that month, they're going to report a trade line or a credit limit of $500, not the full $3,000 or $5,000. So it's kind of like a guessing game with that. You don't want to rack up a bunch of debt with a store that essentially, 1, you didn't even need, or 2, it's going to be hard for you to pay it back. So it's like you kind of got to take what you can get in that aspect. So you can do this with Home Depot, you can do this with Grainger.com, you can do this with Shell and BP. BP actually just released a MasterCard, and I think it's only for members that already been with them. But me personally, I just got a MasterCard with BP. I already had a fuel card, but they extended my limit to $25,000. Now that's great, being in business, being able to have that access to those type of funds. That's perfect. You never know when an emergency might come up, or even if you're trying to invest or expand into something else. But we have to be careful as well with dealing with business credit, because there's a difference of charge cards and revolving lines of credit, right? A charge card is going to be something that you can charge it today. Typically, it has a longer or a wider balance where you can go up to, 15, 20, 25, 30, $50,000. So be it, that's perfect. But when your statement closes, that institution or that bank is going to want all of their money back. They don't do minimum payments. They don't let you roll this forward. They want all their money back. So this is for somebody that maybe has to pay a quick invoice today and the money's going to come back in a few weeks or whatever it may be. But even though you have access to the money, doesn't always mean that you have to use it all. So you want to be careful with that. But more so what we would like to have, or me personally, is going to be a line of credit, right? And a line of credit is going to allow me to not only have a significant limit, but I can charge against it and I can pay it back, and I can charge against it and I can pay it back. Or even if I wanted to pay a minimum on that limit, let's say if I had to make a purchase for, let's say my box truck business, I just had a repair come up that was $5,500. If I don't pay it, the truck sits, I don't make money, so it puts me in a tight spot. But what I can do, let's say if I have business line of credit or, an American Express card, which I have a few of, I can put that on my American Express, and then I have a pay-as-you-go kind of plan where I'll pay a minimum on that. As my truck is starting to generate revenue again, I can pay that back, and I continue to, stretch those payments out. Even though I pay with a little bit of interest, it's still more feasible for me as a business owner to not have to fork out that amount of capital when I can just kind of roll it forward on a business credit card, right? So now that we're putting these different things together, we're building out our business credit profile so that way we're looking more applicable to any type of lender who might be running our credit to test our worthiness. You're starting to put yourself in a better position, but the more that you get into it, the higher the limits are that you are trying to obtain, the more the banks are going to want to see on those business credit reports. Ideal stellar type of business credit report is going to be anywhere from 15 to 20 different transactions. So that means you're going to have 15 to 20 different institutions that you're doing business with who report on 15 to 20 different months. So that kind of stretches it from you being a new institution or new business and puts you out to the 2 years, 3 years, sometimes 5 years, which these banks require. Sometimes that's why they say they want to see you've been in business 2 years, because you'll have 2 years worth of statements, right? So all these numbers kind of correlate with each other the more you get into it, and you'll see it the more applications that you run. But that's kind of more so the slow game, right? The faster way to get into this would be leveraging your personal credit. And that's what I like to do. Personally, I'll make sure that my personal credit report is in a good standing where I have minimal inquiries. I don't have any late payments. I don't have any charge-off accounts. I have one address, one phone number. I'm not listed at a bunch of different locations. If things go bad, they don't know where they can come get me, where they can find me at. And typically anything over a 740 personal credit score, you're going to be stellar, good to roll whenever it comes time to, getting into any type of funding. So what I would do if I was someone new who's just starting, let's say if you had good credit, anywhere over, let's say a 680, that's going to put you in a good standing. What you can do is fill out an application. Let's say if you go to American Express is one that a lot of people know, but there's also a company called Capital on Tap. They lend out money pretty easily. Fundbox is another one where they'll give you a line of credit and they take their payments on automatic draft throughout your business account. There's Tilful that you can use. There's US Bank. Who else do I have? There's PNC. There's Navy Federal. A lot of different banks you can go to. Essentially, they're going to all require the same type of thing. But once you start to create these accounts with these different businesses, you charge a little bit, they pay it, you build your trade lines out. But the easier way to get started, let's say if you wanted to go and just get $50,000 right now, if you had a strong personal credit report, you go in and apply for a business line of credit or a business credit card. You put yourself down as the personal guarantee or the cosigner, just for layman's terms. And then what they'll do is run your business credit, even if you just started this company last week. They'll say, okay, there's not enough trade lines on here for us to do this solely under the business name, but we'll take the personal history of your personal credit report. And if this business does decide to default on this, we'll make the owner of that business or whoever is personally guaranteeing it be responsible for the debt. So, okay, that's a fair trade. If you're really doing business how you're supposed to be and you're really invested in this, how you're supposed to be, then that's a no-brainer. I get one inquiry on my profile and I can get $50,000 credit limit and I can go run up $40,000 on this card and it doesn't report to my personal credit report. Well, that's a no-brainer. Why would I not do that, right? But you still have to make sure you're being responsible with that money. I know from personal experience, it's easy to have that access and to take some of that funds and go and invest in something and it doesn't work out and then now you're scrambling trying to figure out, okay, how can I put this together? So I would say to someone, if your personal credit report is in a position where you can go out and get financing or you can go out and get these credit cards, even if you don't need them right now, still go out and get them so that way you have them when you do need them. It's way better to be in a position to have something and not need it than to need it and not have it, right? So that's my tidbit on that. Hope you guys were able to learn something. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe, share this with somebody who might be able to learn something from it. And until next time, remember, chances make champions. We'll see you in the next one.